All right, welcome back. Talked to the owner of this rifle, a friend of mine, and I might not have explained this operation of the set trigger that well, and so I'm going to go back over that, and then we're going to open it up and take a look at it because there's something going on with this thing that's it's not the same as with this gun. So here we go. And side note, I made a little nipple wrench for my musket nipple today, so that's cool. But we're gonna get into this one and get it turned over here and get these two screws out of the trigger guard. Try to do this so you can see better, but I have the camera standing in between me and what I'm working on, and it causes problems sometimes. But get this out of here, and this actually holds the front of this trigger assembly in. Let me get this screw back here. There's that. Look up in here a second. It's the only thing you see up in here, right? I'm gonna go get my pointer. That right there is the sear, and that's the only interaction between the lock here and the trigger. And when you pull the front trigger, this arm just goes up and contacts the sear right there. It pushes the sear up and just disengages from the hammer, and then the hammer can fall. So we can simulate that now by just pushing up here with the screwdriver and find that. There's a sear. Push up and fall. So that's all that's going on in there. There's not a whole lot that sear engagement surfaces to mess with, or like the fly. But we're mostly concentrating on the trigger. So this spring right here is just a wire, and that returns the trigger. And this spring back here is a pretty powerful leaf spring, and that powers the set trigger, and the set trigger acts like a hammer. When you pull the hair trigger, it releases this. We can show it kind of. It pops this one up, and it smacks that sear bar there. So I want to know why this one, there's 2 clicks. There's one right there, right here. I don't know why they did this way, but then the next click is when it comes back and it smacks again, but it really, where it engages is right on this surface right here. We look inside here. When I pull, there's a surface on this front trigger. I don't know if we're going to see it. I'm going to get a brighter light. All right, this should help. So this little surface here clicks down under this part here on the hair trigger. So when you pull the set trigger, that's the second click. Here, it might smack back here, but so that's the second one. And then when you pull the hair trigger, this set trigger flies up and smacks the sear in the lock, and the gun. So this is the added safety feature. So the first click is there. The problem is, with that in that position, you can kind of pull the hair trigger catches on it, but it pops free. But to set the to be able to set the hammer to full cock without making a noise, we're going to pull the hair trigger, cock the hammer, and let the trigger go. But it interferes here. But what this does is it keeps, if you push forward on this set trigger, it doesn't move up because it's captured. Now when you set it and then you pull I don't want to just let this fly up, so I'm going to put my middle finger on it, and you pull the hair trigger, it flies up and it smacks the sear. My Thompson center doesn't have that. So this mechanism has that added safety feature. So the first click we hear, we do that one click, that locks the rear trigger from being pushed forward, being able to fire the gun. And then we pull it back to where it engages here. And then when we pull the hair trigger, that piece comes up out of the way, and this will fly up and smack that sear, trip the sear, release the hammer, and fire the gun. So I don't know. It might be a nice feature. I don't know where they got it. I don't know if that's original from the Hawken brothers or a design from the time, but my Thompson center doesn't have this feature here on the trigger. So I would like to lessen the engagement. So this screw here, I'm pointing with my pointer here. This screw here, that controls how high this set trigger is under power to go up and hit that sear lever. So we test that with the gun cocked. And it would act like the Thompson Center, where I can push forward on this set trigger and fire the gun until we do that first click right there. And now I can't push forward on it. So maybe something happened back in the day. There was a regular occurrence, or they would get something caught in there and they would push forward on that set trigger and end up firing the gun. So I don't know. I would like that click quieter though. So let's see. We know that the set triggers, as far as that's right, when it sits right against the sear in its relaxed position here, on set position. So this screw adjusts the engagement, or the amount of travel of the hair trigger before the gun will fire. So it's kind of a lot right now. If I look at this other one here, you see this screw has quite a bit of travel left, but it's got very little movement required to drop that. Very little movement. Anyway, in this one here takes more movement. So it's bottomed out right now. I don't have another. I think it's a 2.5. It's a metric screw. We would need a longer screw to get in there, and we would run it in until what happened would be that little surface here, right there, hooks under. Let's see if I get better light. You see that kind of shiny surface out in front of my thumbnail. That hooks under there. And when you pull the trigger, pops out. It doesn't need as much engagement as what it has. It's got a lot. And it could stand to have that moved out there somewhere closer. A little bit closer. The other thing to do would be to trim back that little spur sticking out there. That's what's engaging. I might polish up the top. It's a little gritty. Polish up the top, it might feel a lot better. It'll be just as safe as it is now, which is it's pretty good. I think it should be lighter though, for the sake of yeah, I can feel some grit. So I'm gonna polish that up. I'll talk to him and see if I can get if he wants to, get a little bit longer screw. and do a little tweaking on this, and then decide whether he likes this idea or not. Anyway, I have this hard Arkansas stone, and I can just that little bit. It's less gritty. It's quite a bit of travel for a hair trigger, but it's less gritty. I guess I could work down the end here a little bit. All right, I did a little work on it. Let's see. And I trim back that right there with a stone. And now it's a much less audible click and much less trigger movement on the hair trigger to get it to release. Put it back in the gun, and we'll see how it behaves. All right. I'm going to full cock. And still a good audible click. And then, let's see. If we got the hammer, if we want to do this quietly, we put a trigger finger on the trigger. Oh, I think that part of that is the fly, but I have to do that another day anyway. I'll pull this way back. So that's a silent hammer set. And then we'll try this without doing anything special. We'll just much quieter. And then the movement of the hair trigger. Set it. Pretty slight. So that's what that was. That's a safety feature. So on this gun, we load the gun, we go to put a cap on the nipple, we go to half cock. When we want to cock the hammer quietly, would pull the trigger back all the way and let the hammer go. Doesn't make any noise. There's going to be 2 clicks now, unless we control that front trigger. But so here's one. That's not that bad anymore. And then the next one, that's not as bad as it was. And then when we touch the front trigger, hammer drops. So we don't touch the rear trigger, and it could have been, I don't know, maybe someone was bumping the back of they were bumping the back of the set trigger or something, and they decided to put that feature, that hook that kept that rear trigger from coming up at the wrong time. So again, we load the gun, we put on half cock, quietly cock the hammer, we pull the trigger to the rear, hammer's cocked. We want to quietly set, just keep our index finger there, kind of touching the hair trigger, and it's not so loud. Let's see if I can do this again here. And then that's it. It's adjusted a little bit better. Needs some work, I think, on the fly and the tumbler, and maybe that's another video. Thanks for stopping by.